Okay, let's dive into something I think we all struggle with. Uh, Pipeline reviews. They can be so much more than just like status updates, right?
Oh, absolutely.
This guide we're looking at, Sales Pipeline Reviews, the rep's ultimate guide to winning. It really digs into that, and I'm excited to kind of break it down with you.
Yeah, I'm ready. One thing that stood out to me when I was reading it, it was all about shifting our mindsets.
Mm,
We need to see these reviews as opportunities to empower our sales teams to understand what's really blocking deals instead of just, checking boxes.
mm. Yeah, I think that's so important. It's about being proactive and identifying those roadblocks like early on before they become huge problems.
Mhm.
I remember one time I sat in on a pipeline review and it was all about, hitting the numbers. And it just felt like the energy just drained from the room. It was all surface level, like no real problem solving was happening.
Yeah, and the guide actually mentions that nearly 60% of sales reps find their pipeline management ineffective. And that disconnect leads to, reps just kind of pushing deals through instead of really understanding customer needs and building that strong foundation.
Hmm. Yeah, it's like building a house on a shaky foundation.
Exactly.
So where do we even start with that? Like, how do we even begin to fix that? The guide actually debunks some common myths, and one of them is the danger of relying on messy or outdated data.
Oh, for sure. It's like navigating with a broken compass.
Yeah.
You're bound to get lost. And another big one is confusing pipeline reviews with opportunity
Oh,
reviews.
yeah.
They're very different.
Yeah, I think that's a really common one.
Pipeline review, that's like a regular health checkup. You're looking at the big picture, making sure everything's running smoothly,
Mhm.
identifying any trends or potential bottlenecks.
Okay.
Opportunity review, no, that's surgery. That's a deep dive into a specific deal that needs that extra attention.
Okay, so pipeline review is strategic, opportunity review is tactical. I like that.
Exactly.
The guide also, it emphasizes asking the right questions during those reviews.
Mm.
And it even gives a ton of examples, which is amazing.
Yeah, and what's great is these questions push past the surface level. Instead of just asking, what's the deal status?
Mhm.
You could ask something like, um, what obstacles are preventing this from moving forward? Or are there any like hidden needs that we haven't addressed yet?
Right. Yeah.
Really encourage that critical thinking and collaboration.
Yeah, and using those questions consistently
Yeah.
can help us spot patterns, right? Like if multiple reps are struggling with the same objection, maybe our messaging needs tweaking, or maybe we need additional training in that area.
For sure, for sure. And revenue intelligence tools can really supercharge this whole process. They can analyze data from customer interactions, like emails and calls, to uncover insights that we might miss.
Hmm.
So imagine having a tool that flags a deal at risk based on like sentiment analysis from a call recording.
Wow, that would be amazing. You could address the issue before it even becomes a problem. Actually, the guide mentions Meet Record as a platform that does this really well.
Yeah, they're real-time evaluations of deal health and targeted alerts. It's like having an extra set of eyes on your pipeline constantly.
Okay, so we've talked about this mindset shift, debunked some myths, and we've touched on the power of the right questions and tools. What are some practical steps that leaders can take right away to improve their pipeline reviews?
Well, the guide suggests starting with visualization, helping your reps see their pipeline. A CRM dashboard is great for this.
Hmm.
Allows them to spot bottlenecks, track progress easily.
And we all know how much time reps spend on manual tasks.
Yeah.
The guide encourages automating wherever possible, right?
Give them back their time to sell, automate data entry, reporting, anything that can be streamlined.
It's a win-win. The guide also stresses aligning the narrative across all stages of the pipeline.
Oh, yeah.
Consistent messaging builds trust with customers, right?
Absolutely.
It's making sure everyone's singing from the same song sheet.
Exactly. And don't underestimate the power of investing in the right tools. CRMs, lead scoring tools, and of course, revenue intelligence platforms. These are your secret weapons for a healthy, thriving pipeline.
It's like giving your sales team a toolkit for success, right?
Yeah.
Equipped with everything they need to navigate this crazy sales landscape.
Exactly. And the guide highlights a startling statistic. Only 26% of companies track deals from discovery to closure,
Wow.
which points to this huge gap in effectively managing the entire sales cycle.
So it's not just about filling the pipeline, but nurturing it from start to finish.
Precisely. Pay attention to each stage, identify those bottlenecks, and provide the support your reps need to guide those deals through.
We've covered a lot of ground already. We've talked about the true purpose of pipeline reviews. We've debunked some myths, explored powerful questions and tools, and discussed those actionable steps for improvement.
Yeah, and we've just scratched the surface. There's a whole lot more to unpack. When it comes to optimizing pipeline reviews and driving sales success, before we get too far into the weeds here, I think it's important to kind of highlight one of the key takeaways from the guide. Pipeline reviews, they shouldn't be just another thing to check off the list.
Yeah, it's easy to kind of fall into that trap, right?
Run.
Especially when you're a busy sales leader juggling a million things.
Oh, absolutely.
But the guide really makes the argument that these reviews can be a secret weapon for driving sales success
Yeah.
if we approach them strategically.
Exactly. And one of the most common mistakes that leaders make is they combine pipeline reviews with other types of meetings, like coaching sessions or individual check-ins.
Oh yeah, I've definitely been guilty of that. Thinking, let's just get it all done at once. But why is that such a bad idea?
Well, imagine trying to give someone feedback on their, individual sales performance while also trying to have a high-level discussion about overall pipeline trends. The two just don't mix.
Yeah.
You end up diluting the focus of both conversations.
It's like trying to bake a cake and do your taxes at the same time. You're not going to do either one very well.
Exactly. And so the guide emphasizes the importance of creating a dedicated space and time for each type of conversation. Pipeline reviews should be laser focused on the pipeline itself,
Hmm.
its health, the progress of deals, and any roadblocks that need to be addressed.
So separate meetings, but connected in terms of like the insights that flow between them. Pipeline review data should inform those coaching sessions. And the progress on individual goals should be reflected in the pipeline's health.
Right. It's a holistic approach to sales management. And that leads us to another common pitfall, focusing only on one stage of the pipeline, usually the closing stage.
Oh yeah, the tunnel vision, where we're so fixated on closing deals
Hmm.
that we neglect those earlier stages. Why is that a problem?
Well, think of it like this. Neglecting the early stages of your pipeline is like ignoring the foundation of a house. If the foundation is weak, the whole structure is at risk.
So even though closing is that final stage, the groundwork for that success is really laid. In those earlier stages, qualifying leads effectively, building those strong relationships, addressing potential objections early on.
Absolutely. Those early interactions are crucial for creating a smooth and successful sales journey. And the guide actually recommends a specific practice to address this, consistently clarifying your role at each stage of the pipeline.
Okay, what does that mean in practical terms?
It's about communicating your expectations clearly to your reps, defining how you'll support them at each stage so they know what they're responsible for, and they know when and how to lean on you for guidance.
Okay, so it's like setting those clear boundaries and expectations,
Yeah.
which can be really empowering. Your reps have autonomy, but they also know that they have that safety net.
Right, and that leads us to another crucial but often overlooked aspect, regularly cleaning up your sales pipeline.
Oh, this is a big one for me. I've definitely been guilty of letting my pipeline get cluttered with deals that are going nowhere. It's like having a closet full of clothes you never wear.
Right.
It's overwhelming and unproductive.
It's not just about being organized. A cluttered pipeline can actually distort your sales forecasting. If you're including deals that are unlikely to close, your projections will be inflated.
Leading to missed targets and a lot of disappointment. So, regular pipeline hygiene is essential, not just for staying organized, but for making those accurate predictions and allocating resources effectively.
Exactly. And the guide goes beyond just identifying these common mistakes. It also provides a set of best practices that sales leaders can implement right away to level up their pipeline reviews.
Okay, I'm all about practical, actionable tips.
So the first one is, you guessed it, making the pipeline visual.
I know we touched on this earlier, but it's worth repeating
Mhm.
because it's so foundational.
It's not just about aesthetics. Visualizing your pipeline, whether it's with a whiteboard, a spreadsheet, or a CRM dashboard, it helps your reps see the big picture, track progress, and identify bottlenecks more easily. It turns an abstract concept into a tangible roadmap for success.
I love that, a roadmap for success. Okay, so the second best practice the guide recommends is staggering pipeline reviews with one-on-one check-ins. Why that approach?
Well, it creates that balance between individual attention and strategic overview. So your one-on-ones provide the space for that personalized feedback and support, while the pipeline reviews allow for that broader discussion about trends and challenges.
It's finding the right rhythm for your team. Individual needs are addressed, and the overall health of the pipeline is monitored.
Exactly, and the guide doesn't stop there. The third best practice is consistently clarifying your role. at each stage of the pipeline.
This is about setting those clear boundaries and expectations we talked about, right?
Yes, your reps know what they're responsible for, and they know when and how to lean on you for support. It empowers them while also ensuring that everyone is working towards the same goals.
Okay, that makes sense. What's next on the list?
The fourth best practice is music to every sales rep's ears. Minimize manual effort and repetitive tasks.
I can already hear the cheers.
This is about working smarter, not harder. Leverage technology to automate data entry, reporting, anything that can be streamlined. Free up your reps to do what they do best, sell.
It's a win-win. Your reps are happier and more productive, and you get better results.
Exactly. The fifth best practice focuses on messaging. Align the narrative across all stages of the pipeline.
And again, this is something we've talked about before, but it's worth emphasizing again, because consistent messaging is so crucial for building that trust and credibility with customers.
Right, it's about making sure everyone on your team is singing from the same song sheet. When your messaging is clear and consistent, it creates a seamless and positive experience for your customers.
It's like a well-rehearsed orchestra. Each instrument plays its part beautifully to create this harmonious symphony.
Beautiful. And the sixth best practice is about setting those clear expectations and providing those data-based benchmarks.
Okay, so it's not just about telling your reps what to do, but it's about giving them the data they need to track their progress and identify areas for improvement.
Exactly, and that leads us to the final best practice, which we've already discussed extensively: invest in the right tools.
I mean, we can't emphasize this enough. The right tools can truly transform your pipeline management.
Think of it as equipping your sales team with the state-of-the-art toolkit, a robust CRM for managing contacts and visualizing your pipeline, lead scoring tools for prioritizing leads, email tracking tools for refining your outreach, and of course, revenue intelligence platforms like MeetRecord for data-driven insights and real-time alerts.
I mean, these tools are the backbone of a modern and efficient sales process. They empower your team to work smarter, sell more effectively, and achieve those incredible results.
And remember, technology is constantly evolving. These tools are becoming more sophisticated and intuitive all the time. And as technology advances, so too will our ability to manage our pipelines effectively and drive sales success.
It's an exciting time to be in sales. We have more tools, more insights, and more strategies at our fingertips than ever before.
And the guide ends on a really inspiring note, emphasizing that the future of sales is bright for those who are willing to adapt, innovate, and harness the power of technology.
This whole deep dive has been so insightful. I'm already thinking about how I can apply these best practices to my own pipeline reviews.
I'm glad to hear that. And remember, even small changes can make a big difference. Start by implementing one or two of these tips and see how it impacts your team's performance.
And don't be afraid to experiment. Every sales team is different. So find what works best for your unique process and team dynamics.
Exactly. There's no one-size-fits-all approach. It's all about finding the strategies and tools that align with your specific goals and challenges.
We've explored the true purpose of pipeline reviews. We've debunked those common myths, discovered the power of asking the right questions, learned those actionable strategies for improvement.
And really emphasize the importance of embracing technology.
This has been an incredible deep dive, and I'm feeling energized and ready to level up my own pipeline reviews.
That's great to hear. And just remember, effective pipeline management is the foundation for achieving sustainable sales success. By investing the time and effort to optimize your pipeline reviews, you're setting your team up for greater productivity, higher win rates, and ultimately, more revenue.
Well said. I'm walking away from this deep dive with like a whole new perspective on pipeline reviews.
That's awesome to hear. This deep dive has been all about giving you, the listener, the tools to transform those reviews from kind of like routine check-ins into these powerful strategic sessions.
Yeah, we talked about how crucial it is to shift our mindset, viewing these reviews as opportunities to really uncover roadblocks and empower our sales teams, not just report numbers.
Absolutely. And we debunked some of those like persistent myths, like the danger of relying on messy data and the idea that pipeline reviews and opportunity reviews are the same thing.
Yeah, they're very different. And we also, we really dug into the art of asking the right questions, right? Questions that spark critical thinking, encourage collaboration, and ultimately lead to better outcomes.
Yeah, remember, instead of just asking about deal status, we can probe a little deeper. We can ask things like, what's the biggest obstacle you're facing on this deal? Or what are we missing in terms of understanding the customer's needs?
Right, and those insightful questions, combined with consistent use of powerful tools like CRMs and revenue intelligence platforms, can really revolutionize your pipeline management.
Think of it as equipping your sales team with a high-tech toolkit, packed with resources to help them navigate this, increasingly complex world of sales.
Yeah, and we've talked about the importance of consistent messaging throughout the pipeline, automating those tedious tasks, and regularly cleaning up your pipeline just to keep things running smoothly.
And maybe most importantly, we've stressed the need to pay attention to all stages of the pipeline, not just that closing stage. Strong foundations are built from the ground up.
So true. So what's the one key takeaway you want our listeners to remember from this deep dive?
Pipeline reviews are not just a box to tick. They're a strategic goldmine waiting to be unearthed. By, implementing the insights and best practices that we've discussed today, you can transform these sessions into powerful drivers of sales success.
I love that. It's about taking that proactive, strategic approach to pipeline management. But we know sales leaders are busy people, so what's one small, actionable step that they can take right away?
Just pick one thing from this episode that resonated with you. Maybe it's incorporating one of those powerful questions into your next review, or setting aside, dedicated time each week to clean up your pipeline. Start small and build from there.
That's great advice. And before we wrap up, I want to leave our listeners with one final thought-provoking question. What if the key to unlocking your team's full potential lies within those pipeline reviews themselves?
Think about that, the conversations you have, the insights you uncover, the actions you take as a result of these reviews. They all have the potential to shape your team's trajectory and drive some incredible results.
So true. And we encourage you to revisit your approach to pipeline reviews. Experiment with some of these ideas we've shared and see how you can transform these sessions into powerful catalysts for growth.
Yeah, and thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you found it valuable and inspiring. Until next time, keep those pipelines flowing and those deals closing.
See ya.